I promise you, somebody changed your life with a sentence. You might not have realized it at the time, but somewhere, probably early in your career, maybe when you were struggling, maybe when you were about to quit and leave the company, someone pulled you aside and they said something, and you still carry that today. I see something in you. You're going to lead something big one day. You know what? I think you're ready for more. And those words, they didn't just encourage you, they rearranged how you saw yourself. They planted an identity in you and it grew. Someone saw in you a leader before you saw it in yourself. And that conversation, that one moment, it changed the entire trajectory of your career. And today, I'm going to show you how to have that conversation with someone on your team, not as a compliment, as a commitment. Because seeing potential without developing it is just a nice thought. Developing it, that's leadership. 7 minutes, one truth, one execution move. If you're a leader who's just tired of watching high potential people plateau because no one invested in their growth, tired of knowing someone on your team who could be more, but not knowing how to have that conversation, and tired of losing your best future leaders to organizations that saw what you saw, but they acted on it first, you are in the right place. I'm Chris Hunsicker, and this is the Dealership War Room. This isn't motivation. This isn't theory. This is a daily leadership briefing for people who actually have to produce results in the arena, at work, and at home. You're in the war room. Most managers only have one kind of conversation with their people, the performance conversation. Here's your numbers, and here's where you need to be. What's the plan? That conversation, it manages output. It keeps the train on track, but it doesn't change the destination. The second conversation that almost no manager ever has, the potential conversation, hey, I've been watching you, not your numbers, you. And I see something I think you might not see yet. I see leadership in you. And I want to talk to you about what that could look like if you're interested. The performance conversation manages where someone is. The potential conversation changes where they're going. And most people could go their entire career without a single manager ever having that second kind of conversation. Think about that. An entire career without anyone in a position of authority ever saying, hey, I think you could lead. The waste of that is staggering. And here's why the potential conversation is so powerful. It activates something that psychologists call the Pygmalion effect, where a person of authority expresses genuine belief in someone's potential. And then that person's performance actually increases by measurable numbers, not because they try harder, but because their self-concept shifts. They start seeing themselves as someone who leads, and they begin to behave accordingly. Rosenthal and Jacobson proved this in schools in the 1960s. They told teachers that certain students had been identified as intellectual bloomers, kids who were about to experience a surge in ability. In reality, the students were just chosen at random and assigned to groups. By the end of the year, those randomly selected students outperformed everyone else in the school, not because they were smarter, because their teachers believed they were. And that belief changed how the teachers taught them. And it changed those students. And they invested in those students because of that belief. Your belief in someone's potential is not passive. It is an active force that changes their trajectory. And the conversation, when you name that belief out loud, that's the ignition. So this structure for this conversation has 4 parts. And unlike a coaching conversation or an accountability conversation, this one happens rarely, maybe once or twice with a person, which means it has to land. Part 1, name what you've seen, not a vague compliment, specific observations connected to the leadership signals from yesterday. Hey, I noticed that when the floor gets chaotic, you don't spiral, you actually get calmer. You stepped in last Thursday when the situation at the desk was escalating. And quite frankly, you handled it without any manager involvement. I've been watching that for a while. Specific, behavioral, observable. The same discipline that we talked about from the values anchoring script, but used to name strength instead of to address a gap. Part 2, name the potential. This is where you say it out loud, but clearly, without hedging. I think you have the capacity to lead. Not someday. The qualities, they're already there. And I think with the right development, you could be running a department within the next 2 years. Don't soften it. Don't add maybe or possibly. Say it and say it very clearly in the directory, the way someone said it to you all those years ago. The sentence that changed everything. Hedged belief does not change trajectories. Declared belief does. Part 3, ask and don't assume. Hey, is there something you'd be interested in? Because I don't want to project my ambition onto your life. I want to know if leadership is something you want and not just something that I see in you. This matters. Not everyone wants to lead. Some people are extraordinary individual contributors who just have no desire to manage others. And that's not a failure, that's a choice that deserves our respect. But the people who say yes, who light up, they lean forward and they say, wow, nobody's ever asked me that. Those are the ones that you change. Part 4, build the path. Not a title, not a promotion, a developmental plan. Here's what I'd like to do over the next 90 days or 6 months. I want to give you 3 experiences that will stretch you. I want you to lead one team meeting. I want you to handle a difficult customer situation from start to finish without my rescue. Or I want us to have a developmental conversation, not a performance conversation, a numbers one, once every 2 weeks. I'll coach you, I'll give you feedback, I'll be honest about what I see. And we'll talk about the strengths and we'll talk about the gaps. That's a path. It's not a promise of promotion. It's a commitment to development. And for most people, that commitment is far more motivating than the title ever could be. Because what it's really saying is, I'm willing to invest my time in your future. Not because you earned it with your numbers, but because I believe in who you are becoming and I want you on my team. Here's today's execution move. I call this the first potential conversation. Look at the list you built yesterday during the leadership scan. Pick one person, the one who shows the most signals. And this week, have this conversation, the potential conversation. Start with part 1. Name what you've seen, specific moments, specific behaviors. Then roll right into part 2. Name the potential. I see leadership in you, and say it out loud. No hedging, straight belief. Then roll into part 3. Ask if they want it and respect the answer either way. Now you set up for part 4. If they say yes, sketch the 90-day path. 3 stretch experiences, bi-weekly development conversation, and your commitment to their growth. That's just one conversation in 4 parts. Now you might be the person that they talk about for the rest of their career. The one who saw something when nobody else saw. The one who said it out loud. And then the one who backed it up with a plan that they executed. That is what unforgettable leaders do. And if you know someone right now that in your circle of influence who has leadership potential that nobody has ever named, don't send them this podcast. Have the conversation yourself. Be the person who changes their trajectory today, right now, because elite leaders, they don't just see potential, they name it, they declare it, they ask if it's wanted, and then they build a path. That is what turns from a quality they notice into a career that changes everything. And that's the kind of leader that you're becoming. And tomorrow, I'm going to show you the skill that so many leaders refuse to release. And it's the one thing standing between your exhaustion and your team's growth. We call it delegation. This is real delegation, not the kind you've been doing. So go out today, create some leadership fire, and do not miss tomorrow in the Dealership War Room.